everybody. Welcome to Real Talk with Reggie, where real estate meets real life. First and foremost, we want to give honor to our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ for keeping us here, for bringing us through 2024. But we left 2024 with something going into 2025. And I am just so proud to sit with an excellent panel. First of all, my name is Reggie Butler. I'm the broker and owner of Century 21 Envision, located in Bowie, Maryland. We are licensed in Maryland, D.C., and Virginia for commercial and residential services. Now I want to introduce my panel. First, starting off with Tyrone Eugene. Please tell us a little bit about you, brother.
Well, I'm Tyrone Eugene. I've been a licensed realtor here for umpteen years, and I love it. Most of that time has been with this man here, and I just love it. I love helping people accomplish their real estate goals, and so we're here.
Brian Creighton.
Hello, my name is Brian Creighton, Senior. I've been a licensed real estate agent for about 15 years, and the majority of the time with Century 21 Envision, my man Reggie.
Thank you so much. And my man Billy, me and Billy, first of all, let me say this. We go back to high school. So Billy, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Reggie and I go back like 8 tracks and Cadillacs. We go back until we were probably 16 years old.
That's right. That's right.
Playing basketball
That's
at
right.
Sarasville. So
Yes.
yeah, no, absolutely. My name is Bill Saunders. I am a residential mortgage loan officer, and I've been serving the greater DC, Maryland, Virginia communities and real estate agents and home buyers alike for over 22 years now.
Now, I just want to let y'all know, we're going to have a series of episodes where these podcasts will be information that you're going to use, you're going to take, and it's going to help you embrace your future, okay? That is the most important part. We want to educate you all so we can help you all achieve your destiny, okay? So the topic today is selling smart, tips for maximizing your home's value. Very important. Some people know about some things, but I wanted to bring the professionals together. So I'm going to start off with Brian. Holler at your boy. Okay, Brian, first question. What are some low-cost improvements that can make a big difference in a home's value?
Wow, Reggie, that's a great question. Some of the low-cost home improvements that I would recommend to my sellers would be first, the outdoor curb appeal.
Right.
Curb appeal, right? Whether it's landscaping, whether it's washing off that mold or that moss that's on your west side of your house. Second thing would be trimming the trees. Trimming the trees. Another low cost would be decluttering. Okay. Being able to declutter your home, being able to take away the extra furniture, make it a little bit more spacious for everybody.
So to piggyback that too, do you think there's different myths and thoughts about it. Do you think that the house should be a neutral color? Or do you think that if because some people have multiple colors in their house and what they call it accent wall.
Accent,
right. So when you're preparing to sell your house, do you think that should be neutralized?
That's a great question. It really depends upon a few things. One is what's the out-of-pocket expense for the seller, of course, right?
Right.
And what's the color mat or what's the color palette?
Okay.
Throughout
the whole house.
Throughout the whole house.
Okay, gotcha. And that's important because a lot of people go and they spend all this money and they don't know when the person buys it, whether they're going to like it now. Right. So they want to do it the way they want to do it anyway.
Correct.
And so that's a lot of energy, time, and money that can be focused on other things. Yeah, so that's a good point. So I'm not going to let Tyrone off the hook here. So Tyrone, he tell me, what are the top 3 things a homeowner should do before listing their home on the market?
Before they listed, I would say one of the things goes back to making sure that the curb appeal and everything is right. Making sure that the house is clean. Some of the things is just when you go through the decluttering part, kind of to clear up on that because that's a big part of it.
Right.
So when you're in there in the house, walk around it, take the pictures down. A lot of the personal things. Because like you were mentioning, they come in, they may not absolutely like the colors. Same thing. They may not want to see your pictures of your dog or your cat.
So visualize it. Yeah. Paint that picture. Okay.
That's it. And it doesn't necessarily mean always having to paint everything.
Right.
Because they think that they have to do that. And I know some of this goes hand in hand as far as, some of the myths and so forth. But for the most part, making it clean, having a realistic expectation when we have that conversation with them about what it is to expect during this process. Because some people, this is their first time selling the house too.
Right.
You know, so they may not know exactly what to do. So that's one of the things that's a few of the things
Right.
that I would definitely say do.
So let's touch on that. So everything is really based on pricing. Okay. How would you educate or inform your sellers about the pricing? Okay.
Yeah. So when it comes to the pricing, that always comes up as a big thing, man, because
Right.
everybody wants to get the most they possibly can,
Exactly.
which we understand,
Right.
But the thing about it is, when we're checking, one of the things that I'll do is I'll start looking at the comps and everything, so everyone sees that.
Okay, now explain comps for people that don't understand. And let me put that in better terms, CMA. So
The
explain
CMA.
what the CMA is.
So when you go through that CMA and you're getting the comparables of the of the neighborhood, right? Seeing how your house stacks up to the other ones. So just because that house down the street sold for whatever it sold for, doesn't necessarily mean that yours is going to sell for that.
Right, correct.
You know, your thing, theirs may have been updated.
Right.
Yours may not have been updated.
Right.
So a lot of times when it comes to the thing, and I know for me, if I do have an issue and we're not quite seeing eye to eye on what that price is, I will have them to get an appraisal.
Right.
They can do that. They can definitely, by all means, get an appraisal beforehand.
I see this a lot. I think a pre-sale appraisal goes a long way in helping the seller
absolutely.
Yes.
get a good idea of what the value is. I always say every homeowner has what I refer to as what they call a sentimental value.
Correct.
They raise their family in these homes.
Yes.
They operate. They've done some repairs.
Yes.
They
Yes.
know the blood, sweat, and tears that they put into their home,
Correct.
and they think their house is worth more than it is.
Right.
So sometimes you can show a seller comps all day long, but until they get the actual appraisal,
Right.
that's when they really kind of have like this come down to earth moment where they go, okay, this is really what my house is most likely to sell
Yes,
for.
and that's a good point, Billy, because a lot of times what people don't know is, just to let you all know, when you're doing your comps, you base it, one of the main things you base it off is square footage. The number of bedroom and bathrooms, okay? Those are two of the main things that you base your comps on. And you want to do it within the neighborhood itself, okay? So that is so important to let our clients know and our sellers know, hey, look, I'm looking at your square footage compared to what's over here. How many bedrooms compared to this one? The condition compared to this one. And this is another thing for people and even realtors. It's not, you should not have a problem with calling that agent that listed that house to ask questions, okay, about the house that may not be in the pictures, okay? So all of that is important when you're trying to educate your client about that, because my saying is always, I want to give you the information so you can control the situation, so you can make an educated decision moving forward. We don't make any decisions. The client makes the decision. With that being said, Billy, what should sellers know about how buyers' financing options impact the selling process?
As far as that's concerned, that's a really good question because, as a listing agent, you guys are getting multiple offers on a lot of properties that are out there right now. So what do you look at first? Do you guys look at the actual lender who's providing the pre-approval?
Yes.
Absolutely. I'll call them up.
Exactly.
Have a conversation.
Exactly. So two things we know are important. We always want to work with local and reputable people that we know, like, and trust, right? So I think one great thing about our local lending community is that we do have a really strong backbone here and foundation for providing financing. And we all know that, sometimes mistakes can be made during the process. A lot of times it's buyer mistakes. Sometimes it can be mistakes on the lending side. Things can slip through the cracks and be missed. That can ultimately delay closings. So working with somebody who is knowledgeable and experienced is a big deal. So when you as a listing agent are reviewing contract offers that are coming in, you want to know that you're accepting an offer that is going to be able to be delivered in a smooth and timely way, right?
Correct.
So knowledge of the lending partner that's providing financing to the buyer is extremely important in the process.
Now, I'm old school too, so back in the day, you used to have your lender who would pre-approve anybody that wrote a contract, okay? And the reason for that is to help the seller feel more secure, okay? Because, some of these lenders, especially out of town, and no disrespect to any lenders out of town, is that, they don't know what the local taxes are and everything, which causes confusion during the real estate transaction.
Absolutely.
So it is important that, not just our team be involved, but the lending team be involved, okay? Whether they're buying or not, you know what I mean? Because you can add knowledge that helps this process go well. And to me, it's a circle that we're always helping each other to help the client. So that's important. Now, y'all might be talking about something today. Y'all might be talking about something. But I'm going back to Brian. Brian, how important do you think photos and videos are for the listing?
Wow, Reggie, that's a very good question. My sellers, so I've actually took a little survey last year. When I'm listing a home, if I'm using professional photography and videography, the house actually sells faster and it actually sells for more.
Right.
So it's very important to get these professional pictures, get professional videos done. You know.
Now let me ask you something. Do you use drones?
I do use drones when it's necessary. If I have property that's outside in the country,
Yes.
I use outside the beltway. I use
Yes.
drones.
Gotcha.
Absolutely.
Gotcha. I'm sorry, you were going to say something.
I was gonna say something as far as photography. A lot of agents now are trying to use their own cameras and stuff like that, and you can actually tell the difference.
Right.
You know, if I can tell the difference, I'm sure the potential buyers can tell the difference.
Correct.
Between an amateur and professional.
Yes, because I use homejab.com. Homejab, y'all need to pay me for that. But I use homejab.com, which has been, I've been using them for over 10 years now. Okay, and they've done an excellent job. Excellent job. On point. Now they have more staffing where you can get them the next day.
Yes.
And then you get your pictures the next day. I can schedule something today and I'll have everything by Saturday. Okay, yeah. So they do an excellent job. So homejab.com, I'll look for that check in the mail.
So another thing I want to piggyback on what Brian said as far as those pictures.
Right.
We all got these phones now. The phones are built around the cameras, it feels like, right? So when I take them with my phone, I'm pretty much in there just taking them basically so I can get a feel of what it is.
Right.
The professional pictures are the ones that I post.
Right.
I always take pictures when I'm in there because it gives me a kind of feel. But they're getting angles, their lighting and stuff. They're picking up the right lighting, they get the right shading.
Right.
It just makes a big difference, man, to how those pictures look.
Right.
So that brings up another point before we take a break. How Bill, you want to say something?
I was going to ask a question. How do you guys feel about photoshopping listing photos?
Oh, let me get that. Hold on. Pictures lie. Some pictures lie. You have this property and your expectation is going in and closing this deal, and the property could be trash. And you're like, wait a minute, that's not what.
That's what that virtual staging is.
Virtual staging.
Catfishing exists in real estate.
Yes, it does.
It's house fishing, because I'm telling you, I've had clients that I've worked with that have written pre-approval letters and provided estimates, and they're on their way to go look at a property before they go see it.
Right.
They want to know what the numbers are. They want to kind of know it, make sure that they fit.
Oh, yeah.
And then they go out and they look at the property and they call me back. I'm like, hey, how'd it go? Did you write? Are you writing? What's the story? And they all come back and tell me, they're like, no, like it was absolutely nothing like what the photos represented on the listing. So I'm dying to hear what your guys thoughts are on that.
I know you want to go to this break, but let me tell you. I went to this house, man, and we're looking at the picture, and it's cool.
Right.
They sitting up there, some of the rooms were staged,
Right.
virtually staged. So we're like, okay, so we get there, and we pretty much, as soon as we got in, we just turned around and walked back out. It was nothing like what was in the pictures, man. So now I will tell you, agents, if y'all listening, when you do that, it does leave a bad taste in our mouth.
Yes.
Because it's a frustrating thing to get there and you see it and it's not right.
Yeah.
So we definitely represent those houses. When we're taking those pictures professionally, we're showing you what's there.
Right.
And that's the important thing.
I believe they're doing a disservice to their clients.
They are.
Right.
They are.
Right.
They are. Absolutely are.
Right. So, but before we break, what do y'all think about coming soon? I think it's imperative that you do coming soon to let the people know that you have something that's coming in, okay? Because a lot of times, especially with certain clients, you'll see the coming soon and say, hey, this is, and they'll go past and drive past it,
Right.
okay? So they can start educating themselves. Like I have one client who did that, and I said, well, it's coming soon. No, we're gonna go past it.
Right.
So they went past it, they drove past it.
Yeah,
Drove the neighborhood, did the research on the schools.
Correct.
Right.
See, that's another important thing too. As realtors and as people that we serve our clients, we need to know the other things about real estate, like sometimes just having a grasp on the criminal activity, knowing the school scores, because most of the time when couples move in, they want to move near a school that has a high score.
Sure.
Okay. And I've been in a position where, because I have relationships with certain schools, if they didn't have a high score, I can explain why. And they can do it this way, because to me, the schools, school system is a family thing. It's based off not just the teacher, not just the student, but the parents. And it depends on how involved the parents are too, which adds to it.
Correct.
Because I've seen students have gone to a lower score school, but have come out and been excellent and excel.
Right.
Okay, so that's the one thing that I always want to tell people. It also depends on, every situation is different. It depends on the teacher too.
Right.
Yeah.
So working with a realtor who has knowledge of the community is a big deal.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly,
Yeah, absolutely.
exactly. Well, look, y'all, we're gonna take a break and we're gonna come back and we're gonna have Billy start off, but I'm not gonna tell you what yet. Holla at your boy.